Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Testing, can you hear me?
Oh God, I've forgotten the name of what is wrong with me? Oh, focus. God damn it, focus, TGV. So in this video, I'm only going to be talking about places I've personally bought from. That's wrong. Sold to. Oh, already done that video. I'm only going to talk about places that in this video, I'm only going to talk to. No. So the biggest factors of determining your price will be the current price. What am I saying? Okay, cut. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's very loud for me, and the lav might not pick it up. But every time I record, as long as you, oh God. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. Today, another Gentry in the All right, take 25. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. Today, another episode of Gentry in a Jiffy. This is where I answer some of your most frequently asked questions. You can email in theurban@gmail.com, or one word, I'll put it right there, or leave your question in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them in a future episode. So, we got another email in. Oh, I better do wristwatch check before I completely forget. Wearing the Cosmonaut. This is the Lemania-based newer incarnation, not the vintage one. And yeah, sometimes it's nice to wear a big watch. These are legitimately supposed to be big. And yeah, I'm just enjoying it. For those who always complain I only like small watches, well, there you go. There's a big old piece of beautiful Swiss steel for you. Anyway, so we got an email in. It says, "Hi TGV, big fan of the channel for over 3 years now. Thank you so much. You have inspired many of my purchases in that time. You have talked about the best places to buy watches but not to sell. I tend to sell a lot of my pieces after the honeymoon fades." Yeah, that's when you know if it's a keeper or not, certainly. Only my Rolex DateJust I used to own one of those. That's with the Rehaut, I believe. The Seiko SKX 009, very nice, and my G-Shock DW5600E remains nice. Well, what more do you want, right? What more could you possibly need? Perhaps I already have the perfect trio. I was just about to say that, as I tend to have a difficulty hanging on to anything else. Is this normal? I must confess, I enjoy the hunt for new pieces and experiencing different watches. I think, yeah, we all do. That's part of the love. And sometimes you discover new pieces you wouldn't, like the Navitimer. I really wasn't into them, and the Explorer for that matter, until I bought and owned them for a while. So yeah, very good point. As you are the same way and you buy and sell as much as me, how do you sell your watches? Thank you and keep up the good work. Best regards, Dave from Albany in New York. Cool, so upstate, very cool. All right. Excellent email. Thank you so much, Dave, for emailing this in. Let me just address a few things off the bat. There are 3 ways I personally buy and sell watches. I'm not going to talk about Chrono 24 because I've had a bit of a kind of mixed experience with them. They are good for kind of gauging a rough price of a watch, but I don't use them. I'll save that for another video. Also, pawn shops. They're good for finding bargains, but I've found from personal experience, again, been often lowballed. Well, it depends. Some are better than others. And obviously, every area has a different pawn store. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about them. Well, there are specific places in New York City, in Philadelphia, obviously, and in London that I can recommend. But again, separate video. Craigslist, sorry, is another one. I haven't used any of those for donkey's years. So because these 3 that I'm going to recommend have been my go-to places, in my opinion, the most safe and secure. So the determining factors that will dictate the final price and value of your watch will of course be the condition first and foremost, And secondly, prices in the secondary market. So the first place is private forums. Now, these can vary from like your watch useeks to your Facebook watch groups to very specific collectors. For example, the Rolex forums, their Omega forums, all the rest of it. These are great because they're watch focused. And by the way, I'll discuss positives and negatives for each one, okay? The great thing is you don't have to pay any fees apart from the PayPal fees. I have sold and bought in my own, incidentally, my own Facebook group, the UGWC, which we're nearing the limit of members. We're gonna cut it off at 50,000 members. We are approaching that, so if you haven't joined, now is a good time, because after then it's we're holding places. But anyway, you're selling to friends, people you've had experiences with. I have, shout out to Jaime, shout out to a whole bunch of you guys, Stuart as well. What I like about that is essentially you're kind of keeping it in the family in a way, which kind of makes it a bit easier. You can trade, buy, sell. You're dealing with people you know. Sometimes you get to see the watches that you've sold go on to their new owners and have lives. Well, that can be quite heartbreaking as well, especially if you suffer from seller's remorse. The bad side is there's no security. There's always going to be scammers. It depends on the quality of the forum. You're going to have to build a relationship of trust. The forum, in fact, when you join, there's always terms and conditions. There's no protection there. You're on your own. So if you have a disagreement, if you have a falling out, worst case scenario, make sure you're trading or selling to somebody that is honorable. What happens if they send the watch back in its worse condition than when it's sent, So you have these kind of things to worry about. And also, guys, even the nicest people can turn ugly when money's involved. Trust me, I've seen it all too often. The second place is eBay, of course. Now, I'm a big eBayer. The protection I was just talking about that you don't have with the forums, you do with eBay. eBay has all kinds of, it's a very secure, well-versed platform that is developed a user experience that is, I've had issues. I've called eBay up. They're very responsive. As long as you make sure you have all the transaction details kept in the messaging system, so eBay can see that as proof as evidence. For example, don't accept offers outside of it because you can get penalized. Make sure your listing is well detailed. When was its last service? The pictures are great. It's a seller's market. Go into all the minute aspects of the watch and list as much as you can. eBay very much is an art, and I think the more details you put on there and the more personal it is, and the quality of the pictures really dictate whether you make that sale or not. It's also very good for kind of niche things. You're gonna find things there that you're simply not gonna find in stores. I buy and sell things, obscure things like records, antiques, and stuff like that. So eBay's great for that. You're going to get more money for something that has more of a following online, that's more of a specialty, than you are going into a jeweler's or something, because you're selling directly to the customer. Well, most of the time. You have the eBay policy for returns and stuff, which definitely takes a lot of the headaches out if there is an issue. The negatives of eBay is obviously the fees. You've got to pay the fees. The more expensive the watch, the higher the fees go. I just recently sold a luxury watch on eBay, and oh my God, the fees were ridiculous. And that's why you'll go with my third recommendation, which we'll talk about in just a second. Also, there are a lot of scammers there. eBay tends to favor the buyer over the seller, I found from experience. And it does take a while to establish yourself as a reputable seller, to build that feed back up. A good way of getting around that is by buying a lot of stuff and then start with small objects, sell a few little items and build your reputation like that. So it can take a while. You've got to make your listing competitive. I tend to always do free shipping. If you want to, there are certain countries in the world I'm not going to go into, but I just don't ship to because you're going to encounter problems. So bear in mind the fees, because not only are you going to have eBay fees, you're also going to have PayPal fees on top of that. When you pay fees, part of that is you're paying for the protection, paying for part of the service. So use that. So beware of people asking you, oh, can I come around and pay cash, especially if you're selling luxury watches. Do you really want your information out there like that? These kind of things. Okay, next and last is the safest and most highly recommended way of selling your watch. And it is, of course, the watch dealer. But, and there's a big caveat here, watch dealers can vary so much. I've met and dealt with some absolute sharks over the years, and there's the polar opposite. There are watch dealers like WatchBox, or watch dealers in my recommended list video, check that video out, who are honorable, who are well established. WatchBox is definitely at the top of that list. Of course it is. I wouldn't join forces with somebody I wouldn't personally use and recommend. Their service is excellent. It's very easy. They're the largest used luxury watch dealer in the United States. You get an evaluation, you submit on an online form. It's very easy. You send in some pictures and they'll give you a rough price. The more information you provide, the more accurate that estimate will be. And then if you're happy with that, you can proceed to the next level. You send it in. They have qualified experts that will look over the watch, validate its authenticity, all this kind of stuff. But the great thing is, WatchBox is already an established authorized dealer for many, many brands, and they're an authorized service center on top of that. So for example, you're selling a Rolex, they're an authorized service center, so you don't have to worry about that aspect of the watch. This also allows them to maximize the value of your watch. To service the watch to like new condition, they also obviously have access to parts, all this kind of stuff. So it takes a lot of the headache out of it. So if you like the quote, they'll send you a prepaid label that is all insured and everything. You send it in, and then once finalized, you receive a payment. It's really, really easy. And that's why they're number one. They're not only in my list, but in the country. They're highly trusted and reputable. And the great thing is, obviously, they're sellers too, so you can trade it in if you wish, or perhaps you want to consolidate, or you've got your eye on I don't know, an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, and you're selling a Rolex, and you can put that towards it. It's fast, it's secure, and it's trusted. However, if I just consult my notes again, go back to the notes, sorry, there are some negatives. Obviously, WatchBox predominantly deal in luxury watches. If you've got a G-Shock, or if you've got, I don't know, an Orient, for example, they handle everything from like Seiko, Oris, and to sky's the limit. Or if you've got something very obscure, then you're probably better off selling it either on the forums or eBay. For example, if I grab this right here, the Actron, the Space View, this is something very, very particular. You're gonna most likely have a better chance selling it to a fellow enthusiast that knows its worth. Anything else? Yeah, eBay. Another thing I don't like about eBay is you do have to deal constantly, especially if you, well, an advantage is you can have it best offer, or you know, you can do auction or best offers. So I like being able to dictate the type of transaction. The bad thing about that is you're always going to have people lowballing, stupid questions, just discourteous, rude people, unfortunately. That's something you don't have to worry about if you go with a dealer like WatchBox. You just deal with, you know, a professional on the phone, boom, bam, it's done. Anyway, that's how I sell my watches. Let me know if you have your preferred ways and questions for future episodes in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Okay, ciao.